Keller Williams mobile app. And so the consumers like to see a map view. And so that's kind of why it opens up to this on your screen. Now, if you open the app and you see a login prompt on it instead, that means you haven't set up your app yet. And so if you haven't done that, then what it is asking you, there's been a lot of confusion since the new app rolled out. It wants you just to create an account on it. So always remember that this is a consumer app. It's not an agent app, right? So in Command, you access all the benefits of your clients using this, but this app that we're looking at it's designed for your consumer. And so the recommendation is that you create a login for yourself. Use your KW credentials and everything like that. Create a login so that you can sign in and play around with it and use it. So if you have a login prompt on yours, that's all that you need to do. So of course, the first thing we see is a map. We're going to actually talk about a few other things before we start looking at the search feature that are really important about the app. So if you're following along on the app on your phone, which feel free to do that, because if you're on your computer for this, you can pull your phone up beside you. Then on the bottom, you'll notice that there are 5 different icons. So you have search, which is first, which is arguably the most important thing that your consumer is going to use, but all these other things tie into it. So the last option that you see is one that says more. And I'll tell you why this is important. If you want to click on that, if you look at mine and you see at the top, it says my name. So that's my name for my account. And then under that, it says your agent, Lily Dupuy. So I have mine app branded to Lily on here. So that shows that she is my agent on the app. Whenever you're looking at yours on your phone, you want to make sure that you see it say your agent, Rhonda King on it. So you want your own profile to show up on there with your picture. If it doesn't, then we need to brand your app. So that just means that your app is branded to you. So similarly, in the previous app we had, it showed up at the bottom. So that means when you share it with someone, they're getting your specific app, which is the goal. So you want to make sure that it shows that at the top. If it doesn't, and you need to brand it to yourself, if you haven't yet, you can actually, I'm going to have to click, I think I have to click view profile on mine to get to this. I can scroll down and click find an agent. But I think if your name is not up there, then it shows something like search for an agent on it. And I can click find an agent and I can search by name or location in here. So if I pulled up and I went to search Kathy Lee, I see that there's a Kathy Lee in Cleveland and in Knoxville. I know that I want the Kathy Lee in Cleveland, Tennessee. So I pull it up. So when we look at this, you see how it's got her picture and everything on here. If you look at yours and you don't see your photo, that means we need to add it in your marketing profile in Command. Because if someone comes in here and maybe it's not someone you've shared your app with, but they've just downloaded the KW app because they love to search for homes online and they've decided to search for an agent in their area and they come across you, if they see all these agents and they see ones that don't have pictures, what do you think they're more likely to click on? Somebody that has a photo or somebody that doesn't have a photo, right? So this is one of the reasons that it's really important to make sure your marketing profile is set up in Command. That is in your Command settings. If you need any help with it, let me know. But that's why it's really important to make sure that that stays up to date and that you put all of your info in there, things like a bio, as you see on this one here. So, because obviously you're going to market your app and share it with people, but there's going to be people that find you on it just because they've downloaded the app and they're trying to find an agent. So make sure you're marketing yourself well in that. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. So I'm going to click the back button a couple times to get back to um, the settings in here. So I just wanted to touch on that because I want to make sure that everybody's got branded apps, because there's not going to be any value for you if we don't have that on there. That's super important. So I am now going to click the search magnifying glass on the bottom left. And I'm going to go back to my map that I see here on the screen. So you have lots of different ways that you can search on the app. And even though you may not be searching for homes on this, your consumer is. And so the more you know it, then the more well versed you are in it, the better conversations you can have with people on it, right? If you're not comfortable using it, then of course you're not going to be comfortable telling someone to download it, right? Because you want to know it well enough to be able to answer their questions. Because obviously I'm not, going to be able to help all of your everybody's clients with the mobile app, right? So I get to help you guys understand it well, where then you can help your clients find the value in it too. So if we wanted to do just like, any type of search in here, one of the first things that I always like to point out to people, because in the old app, one of the most, like the features that everybody liked the most was that it showed homes around you. So wherever you were, you open the app, right? And it would show you what's active around you then. So if I go in this little search bar at the top, it shows me city, address, school, zip, like it's giving me ideas of ways I can type in the search bar up here. But I also can click where it says current location. If I click the back button in the search bar, I can also click, there's just a little location kind of arrow in the corner up there. If I click that, that automatically takes me to my current location. So the concept is still there. It's just a little bit different than it was before. So it's going to take me to my current location. So now you'll see I'm the blue dot right there at the intersection of Keith and 25th Street at the office. And I can see homes that are around me. So your client can do this wherever they are. They don't have to just be in Cleveland, Tennessee or Chattanooga. They can be on vacation in their favorite spot that they go to every year in Florida that they've always thought about. One day our dream is to buy a vacation home here in Florida. They can look on your app. So you are their local expert. You're the person that they can rely on for real estate information everywhere they go, because our app is connected with all of the MLSs in the country. So you're not just able to provide them info here, you're able to provide them that info there. If they are visiting their kids who live out west, and the kids are their daughter has their first grandbaby, and they're thinking, well, we want to be close to them, we want to move. So while they're out visiting them, they open up your KW app and they start looking at homes in there. So not somebody that lives out there that's an agent isn't the one providing them that info, you are. And then that's where the power of the referral network comes in as well. So the more that you communicate to your clients that you are their resource through this, wherever they are, location is not, like there's no boundaries on that, then the more potential you have for referrals, which are a great source of income, right? Especially when you're sending them out like that, because you're just getting to follow up and then wait for that awesome referral check to get deposited. So make sure that whenever you talk to the app, like talk to your clients about the app, that they know that they can do this anywhere. So if I wanted to do just a search on the app, say I wanted to put in a little bit of criteria to kind of narrow down what my search is, you'll notice at the top, you see things that says like price, beds, property type, and it says more. So I'm going to click the more button. And here I can do a little bit of filtering. So There's not going to be as many options as you might see if you're creating like, you know, a saved search for them on the MLS. But I think that as time goes on, we'll get more criteria in here. I was talking just to Rhonda the other day, and she mentioned how awesome it would be to be able to filter out listings by like loan type, like what they're eligible for, which I think is awesome. So if you guys ever think of something that you think would be a great criteria for something on the app, or any feedback about the app, let me know. We can submit something as an idea, because they're always looking for feedback. That's how they decide what they're going to move forward with our technology, because it's you know, designed with agents in mind. And so what you see on here first, of course, is price. That's probably going to be one of the biggest ones. And so I can move these little dots to the left or right. So it goes from 0 to 20 million. So I probably want to narrow that down a little bit. That's pretty broad. So I'm going to click the dot, and I'll just drag it, and you'll see that the price goes down. So I'm going to drag it down to, let's see, I'm going to do 300,000. And then I don't want it to start at 0, because then I'm going to get a whole bunch of different things. So I want to fine tune that a little bit more. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to go and say, let's go from just 200 to 300. So we'll make it even there. And if you notice, as I'm doing that at the bottom right, it's changing my results. So kind of like as you put more criteria in the MLS, it starts to show you, okay, there's this many homes that meet that where you are right now. So I'm going to say 3+ bedrooms, and then property type, I'm going to choose houses. So I can also scroll down through here, and I can put number of bathrooms, living area, so that's your square footage. I could put lot size, year built. So those are a few of the things that are in here right now. And again, if you think of something like Rhonda did that would be great in here, let me know. And I would love to see if there's, you know, already something submitted to the KWR tech team. And if there is, we can send it out and get everybody to vote on it. And if not, we can create our own submission on there, because they care what your thoughts are on this app. So I have put in just those few things of criteria. So now in the top right corner, there's a done button. So I'm going to click that. And now you'll see that it has up there, it's kind of like a dark gray. It now shows the criteria that I put in. And I can kind of move around the map and look. I don't know why it still says current location up there. I'm going to click that X. So I can move around just wherever I'm at, and homes start popping up. So if I want to see more details about one, obviously what indicates to me that there's a home is it's got like a rounded up price of it. So I see this one for $235, and it's close to where I'm at right now. So I'm going to click on the price, and it's going to bring up the house. So let's talk about what kind of info you see when you're looking at a listing in here. So when I click that price number, you see it pops up just a picture and a little bit of details. I'm going to click on or kind of hold my finger on the picture and swipe it up. And now it's going to take up my whole screen, and I've got a lot more info. So the very first thing is the photos. So if I click on a picture, I can scroll through all of the images, and I can click on one, and then I can start swiping through them. So I could also probably rotate my phone, and that way it takes up all the space on it. So I can swipe through all of those pictures. If I click the little arrow in the top left, that's going to take me back to the pictures. I'm going to click the X so I can go back to the listing. So The few highlighted things you see at the top are, of course, the price, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and the address. Then you see a few action items under that. So your client, they can save a property. So I click this heart and it saves it, and they can actually create collections. What is really cool is they can share these collections with people that can collaborate on them. But when they do this, when they save these homes and they create collections, you see all of that in Command. So we're going to review that after we kind of go through the app, just to make sure you know exactly where you see that info. But when they come in here and they like a home, it tells you in Command what they've been looking at. When they create a collection right here, like that says Jennifer's favorites, I'm going to click on that and save the home to it. And now in my contact in Lily's Command, since that's who I'm branded to, it's going to show her that I saved this home, 3626 Northwest Woodcrest Circle. So the idea is that you get to be smarter about the connection and the conversations that you have with people in your database, because a lot of times maybe they're not you're not getting a lot of information from them about what type of homes they like or where they're at in the process, but you start to see that they saved 10 homes today, and yesterday they saved 10 other ones, and so they're really active on your app. That tells you need to call them. You need to make sure you're in touch with them, because they're looking a lot at real estate. So it helps you just be smarter about the conversations that you have, which then leads to more productive lead generation, right? Because you're not just guessing who you should call. You're calling people that are actively on your app right now, looking at homes and saving them and things like that. So you also, besides save, you have a hide option. So have you guys ever had, a house meet all of your clients' criteria as far as price, location, amount of bedrooms, square footage, everything like that, but they just didn't love the house, like it wasn't their style, right? But every time they do a search for their criteria, it comes up. So here they can choose to hide that home, and I probably freaked it out because I've saved it and hid it. So it's like, what do you want me to do? But they can hide it. So now every time they come in here and pull up this search, they won't see that house anymore because they don't care about that house. They don't want it. So it, makes them have a better experience because they're not having to click on the same thing every time. Oh, wait, that was that one we didn't like. They just hide it. And then the third one on here is share. So they can click this share button and they can actually share that listing to somebody. So I could click the messages and it just sends a link with that property. It's kind of like a little landing page for it, basically. They could send it to you and say, hey, I love this one. Can we go see this? They could also send it to a friend that lives nearby it. Hey, I saw this house just went for sale in your neighborhood. What do you think? What do you think about it? Stuff like that. So they can easily share properties with people. I'm going to click cancel on that. And then you've got prompts for Keller Mortgage and Keller Covered. If you don't want these in here, you can actually disable them in Command, but they are great features that, we've got access to, great services that are worth learning a little bit more about. And your clients, if they're thinking about using Keller Mortgage, it says save up to $3,440 on your next home loan. That's going to make somebody want to click. So they can click it and they can learn a little bit more about Keller Mortgage on here. And they can actually go through the pre-approval process as well. So under that, I'm going to click read more. This is going to pull that the remarks from the MLS. So the MLS description or public remarks, and have that whole description so they can read a little bit more about the house. And then so when you guys are looking at this, I want to ask you, can you tell me who the listing agent is of this? Do you see a listing agent's name?
Award Realty, but no listing agent.
no listing agent, right? It shows the brokerage, which of course, you know, they have to legally, that has to show up. But if your clients are on Zillow and they look at this house, what do they see? They probably,
Our name.
yeah, they see the listing agent's name, right? So if that's not you, then all of a sudden they're calling so-and-so at ABC Realty, right? Or if it's not the listing agent's name showing up, they've got a list of 4 or 5 premier agents that are paying for those leads, right? And their faces and their names are showing up. So if they're looking at this house on there, they're not thinking about the, you know, you who has followed up with them and all kinds of stuff like that, because they're just looking at who they see right there in front of them. So here keeps you in front of them, because they're not going to go look up Award Realty and try to call them. They're just going to say, oh, it says ask my agent down here. Let me do that, because it's right there. So it's all about proximity. So this is keeping you in emotional proximity with the client. And when they're looking at homes on here, they just know that you're their resource, right? So below that, gives, you know, more details about the home. Of course, I click see more. I can see school zones and, you know, roof. There's a double garage, so I can see a little more details there. So now, after we get done from like kind of the info about the house, here's some really unique things that, features that you have in this app. So the first thing you see here is commute times. So a lot of times proximity is really important in where someone's looking for a house, right? Like they want to be within, you know, X amount of minutes from work or from their kids' daycare or from, you know, a parent's house or something like that. So they're looking for places based on proximity to other places that they value, right? So right here, I can click search for a place and say that I'm looking for a house and I want to make sure I'm really close to work, because I know that if I don't live close to work, I'm not going to be on time. So I'm going to type in, I live very close. So I'm going to type in the office address. And I'll see them start coming up here. So there's 650 25th Street Northwest. So I'm going to click on that. It says it'll take me 4 minutes to drive there. If, you know, this is in, maybe you're somewhere where there's a lot more, you know, biking or walking or anything like that to work, more of a walkable type town, you can actually click on biking, see how long it would take you to bike there, or how long it would take you to walk. So it would take me 32 minutes to walk to work from there. So, of course, you know, a lot of those might not be, you know, typical in Cleveland, but again, you know, you've got clients maybe in the Chattanooga area, and that might be actually a feasible option for them. Or remember, you're their resource anywhere. So they can add multiple places. They can actually save those here in the app, where every time they look at a house, they automatically see how close it is to those few places that they value. So they could I could put in work. I could put in the gym. I could put in Target, because I like to go to Target and I want to make sure that I'm not super far from there. So you could put in different commute times, and you see how it says source Google on here. So I don't know if you guys know, but we actually, Keller Williams works hand in hand with Google to develop a lot of aspects of this app. And we actually, through Google Maps powers the maps part of this app. So that means those commute times and calculations, that's being powered by Google Maps. So the fact that we're backed by Google is pretty crazy, because what a big company that is. So that's where the sourcing is from for that. Then I can scroll down and I can see nearby schools, and I can see the student teacher ratio in those, for public schools and for private schools. And the source for that is Pitney Bowes. I think that's pretty common for when you see school ratings and stuff like that on websites. You could see upcoming open houses if those were advertised on there. There's a mortgage calculator built in. that they can use. They can, of course, it's got the links again to Keller Mortgage and Keller Cover down here. Then this is a brand new feature that's just been out for maybe a week or so. They can request a video tour through the app. They can also request a live tour, so I'll show you what that looks like. So you'll notice they're very much pivoting the app to the current state of everything that we're in. So with the coronavirus, obviously that can easily throw everything for a loop, but Keller Williams has pivoted in every area. And so even in the app, you see it's got a little note that says, your health and safety are our top priority. That's why we've added the option to tour properties you're interested in through a live video chat. So you might still have clients that aren't really comfortable getting out, or are more immunocompromised, and so maybe they're not comfortable going to tour a house. They can actually click schedule video tour. It's going to allow them to choose up to 3 time frames, and these are not specific times, so they're not going to be like, oh, I want to go at 2 p.m. on this day. They're going to say, okay, I'd like to go, here's tomorrow, so Friday, June 19th. So I'm going to select it and hit done. And then on time, I could say morning, afternoon, or evening, or I could say, oh, well, afternoon or evenings, or I could select all 3 of them and save it, and it would say all day. So I would like to try to see it, I'm available all day tomorrow or Saturday morning, and then save. And I could do up to 3, but say this is sufficient for now. And then I can say, what type of tour are you interested in person? So they can request that, or live video. And they can say their preferred video platform. So I could say FaceTime and schedule video tour. So again, they're just requesting it from you. So when I click schedule video tour, it says your request has been submitted. Your agent will get in touch with you via email to confirm. So what happened when I did that, it automatically sends it to the agent. So I tested it with Lily earlier, and I, ran out to tell her, hey, can you check this for me? She's like, I just got a Kelly notification. So she had already gotten the notification that said that I had requested a video tour through the app. So make sure that you are logged into your Kelly app. I know those notifications can be hit or miss sometimes, but a lot of times it's just because Kelly will automatically log you out sometimes. So just make sure you kind of open it up frequently so that it stays logged in, but you'll get those notifications. Now, we noticed that it was easier to see the details if we looked at it in command. So I'll also show you that when I switch over to sharing my screen from my computer. But what do you guys think about that? Thinking about your client being able to request those tours through here.
So can they only access this app through me and the agent, or can they just access the app?
So that's a great question. Like theoretically, anyone can go to the App Store and download this app, and it's not branded to an agent. So then they don't really have access to a lot of the features like that. Like if they went to request that, they can't request anything since there's no agent to ask. So So an unbranded app won't really help them or you, but they can do that. So that's why it's important to have conversations with your database about the app and share it with them, which I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So that was a great question.
Thanks.
Any other thoughts? All right. So as I keep scrolling, I can see nearby homes. So I could swipe through some nearby homes. And then, of course, at the bottom, it gets to kind of all just the legal footer and all of that. You'll also see at the bottom, I have that schedule video tour option. So it shows up kind of anywhere when I'm in the listing. And I also have ask your agent. So I could say, ask your agent, and I could say, love this one. Can we, can we see this weekend or something like that? Or could I say, can you find out a little bit more about XYZ about this home? And I can type that in here and click submit. And she's going to get another Kelly notification that tells her that I asked about a property. So eventually the Kelly app is going to be replaced by what's called Command Mobile, and it will be more like Command on the go. And so you will be able to access a lot of those notifications much easier that way. So I'm going to click this little down arrow and swipe out of that listing, and look, you'll see now it shows it's like kind of hidden. That one went away. It was right there, the listing that I hid, and now it's gone. So I don't even have to worry. So I came in here and I put in all this criteria, but the client, they don't want to have to put that in every time they go to search, right? So over here on the top right side, I have a little bookmark icon that says save. So I can click save, and I can save the search. So Cleveland Homes, I'll just name it that, and click save. And now every time I come to the app, I can actually just access that search. So where I would see it is down on the bottom panel, there's a little heart button that says, that says saved. Clicked a little too soon. And now you see recent saved searches, and it says Cleveland Homes. So they can have multiple saved searches anywhere in the country, here, their favorite vacation spot, where their family lives. And then they can also create specific collections. So as they start to find homes that they really like, they can put them in these collections. And you know, it all depends on how you present this kind of information to your client. So you can, you know, tell them, hey, you know, when you save homes and you create these collections, I see that, and that helps me have a better understanding of what you're looking for. Or on the flip side, you can totally play dumb, and you see that you see a home they save, and you call them and you're like, hey, I just drove by this house in downtown Cleveland. It has a lot of those things that you mentioned to me. And you know, it's got that you know, nice front porch that you want, and it's 2 stories, and it's in the location that you like. Would you want to see it today? I could schedule a showing. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I actually saved that home today. That's awesome. You're like a mind reader, right? And then of course you look great. So, you know, there's different ways to kind of have those conversations around it. You don't want to appear like Big Brother, I see everything you do. But if you're able to explain to them, hey, create these collections, and when you create them, I see them so that I know what you're interested in. So it's all about the way that you position the value in it. So I'm going to click back on the search button on the bottom left. So do you see how at the bottom left it says Google on this map? So we talked about that a few minutes ago, about how our maps in here are powered by Google Maps. So have you ever, you know, taken someone to go see a house or something like that? It's, you know, you think it's going to check all the boxes based on the information you've seen, and then you get there and it backs up to like a gas station or a car wash, or, you know, a train or something like that. That stuff that's, you're like, this could be a breaking point here. This might be something that there's a lot of noise, then they've got the young kids, or they've got a skittish dog, and the noise of that might not be something that they want to be really close to. And so from just looking at something like this on the map, especially if it's in, you know, an area that you're not as familiar with, you might not know that about it before you go to see it. So you can actually go up and click the More button on here, where we went to do the search criteria, and I can click map, and I can change it to satellite. So you guys ever used Google Earth before? Super cool. That's basically what we're doing right here. I'm going to click satellite and click done. Now I can literally zoom right in, and there's where I am, and there's the top of the office building. So I could pull up a listing and be like, oh, that actually kind of backs up to, you know, a business that might be, you know, kind of loud, or something industrial that maybe that would bother them. So I want to make sure they know that before we make that drive out there and see the house if something like that would kind of, be a deal breaker for them. So they can do that same thing here in the app just by using the Google Earth version of it. So again, a great benefit of the fact that we are kind of partnered with Google there. So from the same perspective of the Google Earth part of it, you can actually search a lot of different ways in the app. So not just by area, you can search by neighborhood through our partnership with Nextdoor. That's what these little blue boxes are that you see. If you notice a lot of blue boundary lines that I see as I kind of go around. So those are all neighborhoods in Nextdoor. And through our partnership with Nextdoor, we have access to those boundary lines. So if I click on Georgetown Road, I'm now seeing information about that neighborhood. So I'm seeing average days on market, average price per square foot. As I scroll through, sold statistics, what locals say about the area. I'm again seeing those commute times, nearby schools, but it's just a little bit more focused on the neighborhood. So a lot of times, the area really matters to the client. And so if you are, letting them know, hey, you can actually see all these details about the neighborhood just within the app. So they can see nearby places through Yelp. It's like nearby businesses. As you scroll a little more, here's some nearby restaurants, all provided by Yelp. So all these big name companies are all integrated kind of in our app. So I can also see what kind of homes are for sale in that area as well. Then I just kind of swipe it down to bring it back to the map. You can also search by school district in here. So I know that's a lot of times something that clients really value, especially if they've got kids in a certain school already. They don't want to have to move them, or they're about to start school and they've got a specific school in mind that they want them to go to. And so you can search by school district up here in the box. And also you can search by landmark in here. So if you had somebody that just said, hey, I want to buy something near, Lee University, or maybe they're looking for investment property around there so they can, easy to rent out to students or something like that. I can come up here and have no address, and I'm just going to type in Lee University, and it takes me into downtown. I was like getting my boundaries here. So I came here just by typing in Lee University. So there's the historic district and everything like that. So I didn't type in an address, did I? I just typed in a place. So basically, because we've got Google Maps in here, it will use the most likely address for whatever you're typing in. So if they're somewhere and they want to be near a specific landmark, specific school, any type of place, then they can literally just type that in up there and it will take them to it. So it's a very smart app. The more you know about it, the better conversations that you can have about it. Does anybody have any questions about the maps in the app, the search part, anything like that we talked about or that we haven't talked about? Okay.
I actually do.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So does it pull active listings or does it pull contingent also? Because I just was curious if somebody, if they're like, I saw that one and then disappeared, if it pulls contingent or pending.
So it should have pending ones on there,
Okay.
contingent ones. They can actually, like, if you go to more up here, let me scroll, there's a listing type on here.
Okay. I looked for that and I didn't see it quickly, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Because so it, the pending ones it's not checked by default. It's just active. But I think I don't I know that contingent and pending are two different ones in our MLS. But I think used to contingent sometimes would show up as like active still. But I would try maybe searching one that you have and check pending and then uncheck it and kind of see what it says.
Good. I
Yeah.
was curious in this market if they were like, there was this one, and so I didn't know if it had it automatically checked.
Yeah, that's a great question. Check the listing type part and kind of see what's checked. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so before I jump into sharing my screen for my computer, just another quick reminder about a great feature that's in the app that you want to take some time to read through and customize to fit your business is the guide. So in the bottom middle, there's a guide option. And this is a huge value in the app that no other app is going to provide to your client. And it is what literally walks them through the buying or selling process from beginning to end. So you're gonna, some clients, they're just, they don't need a lot of information. Some people, they want to know every single step and everything that's going to come up. Everybody has a different personality. And so because of having this, you're able to, market to those people that love to see that. And then if somebody doesn't care, that's great. They don't have to use that aspect of the app. But these buyer seller guides are built in here. They're really nicely done. They've got a ton of info in them. If I scroll through, I can click on, let's see, where it says make an offer. And I come through here and it kind of gives them a lot of background about that step in the process. And what's included in your offer, what are contingencies and what's common there, all those things that a lot of times you have to, you're used to those things, but your clients, they don't know what those are. So a lot of times you've got to educate people. This just makes it easier to educate them because you've got someone who maybe like me, I like to just read up on stuff on my own and I'm not as likely to ask questions until I have tried to find it myself. So I love this. Like I would sit here and read all this and I would feel super prepared to walk into making my offer with you, or I feel prepared to ask other questions because I've got a little bit of background knowledge on it too. So I would encourage you to read through everything that's in here and you customize this all in Command. So if you notice something that you're like, I don't really do that, or, oh, I do this and it's not in there, and you want to add something or delete something, you do all of that in Command. So you just want to kind of personalize it to you. Obviously, real estate is very local. So the way we do real estate in Tennessee, it's going to be different than the way they do it in Texas or California or New York, you know what I mean? So when they write this, it's, going to best apply in the best of their abilities, apply to everybody, but it's, going to need some personalization. So make sure you go through these so you know what it says, because all your client knows is that you put this in here for them, right? So just make sure you know what's there, but they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like my agent provides me with all of this info. So they've really kept me up to date on where I am in the process. And they can actually check off steps in this, or in Command, you can check off the steps for them. If you guys ever noticed inside of an opportunity, there's now a tab that says like buyer profile or seller profile. That's connected here with the app. So you can actually check off where they're at in the process. So if they don't like to do it much themselves, you can manage it for them in the back end. But it just keeps total transparency about the process. They don't have to question where they're at. And not that you would make them do that, but it's just that a lot of times when you've got a lot of transactions going at one time, sometimes you can feel like I've got so many balls in the air and I feel like I'm going to drop something, or have I communicated everything I needed to this customer or this one? And so just letting the technology kind of fill in those gaps for you, it's really going to help. So on that, I'm going to switch into Command. And now you guys should see my Command screen. Is that what y'all see? Perfect. So when you're in Command, anything you need to do to manage the app, I just want to make sure you guys know where you do that. On the left sidebar, the very bottom, there's a consumer button. That's the consumer section of Command. This is also where you manage your website. So there is an option here at the top that says Guide Builder. So if I click that, that's where I can come and easily edit that guide we just looked at. So I have the buying and selling guide, and a pencil icon on the right side lets me click, and I can come in and click on each step and totally edit it. I click on it, it shows me the picture. If you wanted to change a photo, you could. You can literally change anything about it on here. The subtitle, the title that shows up, all those details. So super easy to come in and edit. Just want to make sure you guys know where you can do that. Obviously, it's something that'll take some time just because you've got to read through all of it. But, you know, do one guide at a time and come through and just see what is in here and make those edits as you go, because that way you're more prepared for when you're sending it out to your clients. Do you guys have any questions about the buyer seller guides? Do you guys like them?
Yes.
I think they're really awesome.
They're great. Absolutely.
I love that you didn't have to like think about it, you know, it's just all put together for you, and then you just get to change it to make more, you know, sense for you. Like to be more like, okay, this is what I do for you, but you've got such a good template here already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to click back. And also in this consumer section, other than the guide builder, you have in the top right where it says site and app settings. So if I click that, this is where I can come and I can make any edits that I need to for specific things on my app. I can click on URLs. That shows me my, forget, I'm in my account and I don't actually have an app link, but in yours, your app link should show down here. And another new feature of the app is you can now add featured listings to your app. So you can feature your own listings as a collection on anybody's app that is branded to you. So I just learned about this the other day. I think it's awesome. You come in here and click featured listings and you can select them from KWLS. You can highlight up to 12. So what a great value proposition for your sellers, right? To be able to say, oh yes, and I feature your listings on the KW consumer app. So anybody that's on my branded app is going to see all of that. So I thought that was a really cool update. They're working on a big rollout for the consumer app with some new stuff that I don't know exactly what it is. I just heard this yesterday on my tech call, but a little bit later in the summer, they are going to be rolling out some new features in the app. So hopefully that'll be really cool. The other thing I wanted to show you is you want to, you know, market this app in any way that you can. So whether that's just, you know, texting it out to your database, putting them on a smart plan, which I've got a class next week all about smart plans. If you guys aren't using smart plans yet, come to the class, because smart plans help you automate all kinds of aspects of your business. So I won't really spend time on that part of it for this, but just come next week because smart plans are great. But you can also market the app in campaigns. If you didn't know, they actually have quick posts, and I think Stephanie Graves, you've been using those a lot, right?
Yes, I have.
I think they're awesome. I remember you asked me about one the other day. I think these are great. If you just sometimes just can't think of what you want to post on social media, or you just don't have time, which is so often why people aren't consistent on social media, is because they don't have time to sit and create and schedule out and stuff like that. They make it easy for you in here. If you come in campaigns, I can scroll right here and see quick posts, looking for inspiration, put your own twist on these suggested posts. Right now, these are basically all about the app. So they're working on more that are going to be different. But like if you want to promote your app on your Facebook business page right now, come in here, look at these quick posts. I can click shuffle if I want to see something different. And maybe I want to use this one that says stay in, search on. You download my app. There's a little arrow down at the bottom, and I can schedule this out to post on my Facebook business page right now. It's already got a caption that sounds really great, but if I don't like this caption, I have a shuffle button up here that I can click. And this says, if you love looking at houses in your downtime, download my new app. It's got local insights, neighborhood stats, and of course, beautiful homes you can save in custom shareable collections. Dream away, act, and then it should actually fill in your app link for you right here. And it's already got the nice picture with it. And for advertising compliance, you literally just tell it if you want your logo to show up on the right or the left. You can check the box to include the ownership statement. And I'll just change this to say each Keller Williams office. Apply. I mean, now it's just ready to post. That literally took 30 seconds. I didn't have to sit and think about it. Sometimes the caption is the hardest part, right? So there are so many of these in here right now that you could post something about your app twice a week for like a month. So make sure that you're sharing it to people, because if you feel like you're oversharing it, you're probably not, because everybody, you know, with algorithms on social media and stuff like that, there's going to be somebody that doesn't see it the first 3 times and then they see it, right? So use these, leverage these. They literally make it so easy. There's no reason to not be posting about your app all the time, because you already have all of these built in here for you. So they're going to be creating more that don't have to necessarily do with the app later on, but I think these are great right now because it just helps you share it and get it in more people's hands. Do you guys have any questions about that?
That's amazing.
It's awesome. It's
very
about,
easy.
Yeah, it's all about leverage.
Yeah.
So awesome. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that is something specific regarding the app that you guys had questions about or needed clarification on or anything? Awesome. Well, just always know that, you know, this version of the app is still newer. It's only been out since February. When it comes to technology, that's still considered new. So there's going to be things that sometimes don't work as the way they're supposed to. And so you might get frustrated with it sometimes. And so it happens. I get frustrated with it too, but I've got to remain positive about it, right? So whenever you're talking to your clients about it, just let them know, like, hey, I'd love your feedback on our new app. Let me know what you think about it. If you think it's if you see something that you think could be better, like, just, it's all about the way you present it to them. If somebody knows that it's something newer, especially, you know your database. So especially people in your sphere, the people that you could present it in that way too and say, hey, like, this is new. So, let me know what you think about it. And then they feel important because they're getting to, like, it's almost like they're getting to test out this new piece of technology. And then you've got somebody on your app that you're able to see the types of properties that they're browsing, right? So it's pretty cool. They're, always doing updates. So try to keep you guys up to date on new things that come out, like them adding that featured listings option on there. If any of you guys go in and do that, I'd love to know how that goes, or if you run into any questions, because I literally just found that out a couple days ago and I thought it was super cool. And then I recorded this, so I will probably upload it to my YouTube channel. So if you need a review on anything on it, you can check it out there.
Thank you so much. You did awesome.
Thanks. Thank y'all for coming.
Thanks, Jennifer. We left you some comments if you can answer later.
Yes, I'll go look at them.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.